Welcome back to Reaper Raytel. I'm Ali Chaos. I'm an ex-infantry soldier, and I'm here today to talk to you as a direct follow-on from my last video, which took a brief look at one reason, why there was a Russian-Ukrainian conflict, and that reason was NATO expansionism. And today we're going to take a look at another reason, and it was one that I touched on my previous video, and this reason is the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. So we've already established that America started the war in Ukraine by backing a coup that overthrew the democratically elected government of Ukraine and installed a pro-American regime in Ukraine in 2014. It's pretty smart. This coup forced Russia to step in and annex Crimea, because if they didn't, they would lose their naval base and access to the Black Sea. Okay? Now, Russia had signed a treaty with the Ukrainians at the time that allowed Russia to lease this naval facility in Crimea, and thus giving the Russians a greater projection of power. America undermined this by forcing the Russians to either unpopularly and whilst incurring multiple damaging economic sanctions to annex Crimea, thus imposing sanctions that would weaken the Russian economy, or choose to surrender their naval base in the Black Sea and give up all projection of power capabilities in that region. You see, America really did outplay Russia even well back then, and they kept it so quiet. And it's only just coming to light now. It's like watching a chess game unfold before our eyes. Moves that happened back in 2014, the foresight that the American administration, the Obama administration at the time, had to foresee basically events that were going to happen, and that they could mold and dictate how these events were going to play out in the future, is just astounding. Like, you've got to give them credit for this. It's mind-boggling how much foresight that administration had. And look, I'm not pro-Obama or anything like that, but once you start recognizing what that administration had really set Russia up and how they'd really set America up to be the top dog that ends at the last again, it's very smart. And again, there's a lot of different factors, and we'll touch on these in other videos. I don't have time right now because I do try to condense these videos for you guys just to make them brief and so you understand. So anyway, let's just quickly kick on. While on the topic, it's only now that the same administration, the Obama-Biden administration, has returned to power after the Trump administration, that all this has started back up again. Notice it went quiet whilst Trump was in. It's because that the Biden administration has now returned to the Obama administration goals. But again, we'll touch on that in another video. But apart from allowing for greater arms export and increasing the American military-industrial complex, expanding business and sales worth billions to the Ukrainians, and in turn being able to keep a close eye on Russia, why would America want this war to go ahead? Why would the greatest superpower in the history of our race back a coup in a regime that comes under attack that they should be able to stop, correct? Yes, that is correct. They most definitely could stop it if they wanted to, but they don't want to. Why do they not want to stop this conflict? Why are they wanting this war to continue? Well, let's take a quick look. It's called the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. Now, what is the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline? The Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline is a 1,200 kilometre pipeline that runs under the Baltic Sea, which will take gas from Russia, from the coast of Russia in St. Petersburg, to Lubmin in Germany. And it costs around $10 billion and was completed in September 2021. The Russian state-owned energy giant Gazprom put up half of the cost, and the Western energy firms such as Shell and Energine, I think that's Energy, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, it's French, that French energy company would pay the rest. Nord Stream 2 runs parallel to an existing gas pipeline, the Nord Stream 1, which has been working since 2011, and together these two pipelines could deliver 110 billion cubic meters of gas to Europe every year. This is over a quarter of the entire of the European Union and Europe countries' gas consumption annually. It's a lot of gas. Now, Germany is doing away with its nuclear power, and it has already begun closing some of its plants, thus opening the need for more natural gas imports. Now, a lot of countries are opposed to the Russian-led Nord Stream 2. The pipeline, such as America, the UK and the Ukrainians, just to name a few, because they believe it increases Russia's power through control of the pipelines, which would give Russia a stranglehold over European gas, which opens up to then, well, if not for Russia, who would supply all the natural gas to Europe? And in step our saviour America. Huh. Wow, would you look at the coincidence? But how does it all tie in? The Nord Stream 2 is complete. However, it hasn't been signed off for use by the Germans. And why not? Well, back in 2014, the Obama administration at the time stipulated that after Russia annexed Crimea, if they further invaded the Ukrainians anymore, that all NATO allies could not use that gas pipeline. Germany being a NATO ally. Where's the gas pipeline go from? From Russia to Germany. So by Russia invading the Ukraines, now their pipeline is just sitting in the ocean and can't be used by Europe. And now America will step in and export natural gas over to Europe. The fun fact here, and here's just a little side note, Hunter Biden, that's Joe Biden's son, is actually on the board of an energy giant, Burmisa, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Burmisa, which is one of Europe's largest energy companies. But that is another story. So to wrap this video up, and so to give just a clear understanding, and again I can touch on this sort of stuff later in depth if everyone wants me to, but just to summarize the simple version, America outplayed Russia. Now that the Russians have invaded Ukraine, all the billions of dollars worth of natural gas has gone to the Americans, thus making America extremely profitable in this conflict. They are now in a position to supply 1/4 of Europe's natural gas, and that doesn't even include what they already now export. So they now hold a monopoly on the natural gas exports worldwide. But a multi-billion-dollar arms and aid deal to Ukraine, as well as drawing out Russian forces into a proxy war and now being able to monitor all new Russian tech. And just really quickly, the Russians don't actually have that bad a tech. For example, their helicopters are some of the best in the world, and they're the only helicopters in the world that I'm aware of that have crew ejection seats. That means they eject up through the helicopter. Good crew survivability in wartime. As well as that, how does NASA get to the moon? Russian rockets. So they do have some good technology. They're not always just played out to be these really third world country all the time. But back to the point at hand. So America now can weaken their rival through a proxy war, through sanctions from the invasion, and now through stealing business by cutting Russian business. So there is a huge interest in America that the Russian Nord Stream 2 pipeline does not continue. If that pipeline fails, which it has, because Russia invaded, America will take over the exports of natural gas. It was stipulated that if Russia invaded further, America would cut their natural gas line to all NATO allies, and everybody had to agree to it. They did agree to it back in 2014. Now look, we've been pushing and pushing. We're destabilizing regions by pumping weapons into it. We're giving just machine guns to civilians and rockets to civilians. We are destabilizing the shit out of a region. We are now securing, America is now securing 1/3 of Europe's natural gas exports now, which is a $1 trillion deal. It is now getting aid packages to Ukraine, Poland, and all these other NATO allies, multi-trillion-dollar deals again, as well as now being able to keep extremely close eyes on what Russia is doing, where they're at, how economically they're going militarily, what their technology is. We're able to draw them out in the open and really see for ourselves everything that Russia can do, whilst the whole time weakening them economically and militarily through sanctions, through stealing business. Can you start to see there really is a huge vested interest in America's role in why Ukraine is now at war with Russia? All right, guys, anyway, I could really go into depth with all this sort of stuff. There's so much more to talk about. I will be bringing out another video touching on more stuff. And if you want me to go into depth into stuff, just please leave a comment and just tell us what you want to know. And if I do know it, I will get it out there so that everybody can understand what's actually going on fairly throughout the world, and we're not just copying all this propaganda. But anyway, look, leave a like, please subscribe. It's a brand new channel. It really helps me out, and I'd love to do this sort of stuff. And yeah, look, this is Ali Chaos. This is Reaper Raytel out.